that black man to feed me so that I can help him to create that heaven. Because my job is, again, I'm a help meet.
Right.
He's my maintainer. And so as long as we are partners, co-partners, we can create a heaven together. Again, that it goes back to that family is the power base. And society has been so disillusioned that you don't need to be married.
Right.
I mean, it went as far as Halle Berry saying, I don't need to be married to have a child, as long as the father's involved.
Right.
But you're taking out the structure,
Good
because
point.
that's how God set it up,
Right.
is for us to be married, and that is what's causing our heaven. Without that, without God's law in place, you have no heaven. Everything is pure hell. So as long as you're treating that woman the way you're supposed to be, you make her an honest woman. Okay, so she is a woman off the street. Clean her up.
Right.
Clean her up and pull out the best characteristics of her.
Yes, ma'am.
That's going to make your heaven.
Yes,
You know,
ma'am.
but we're too busy saying, no, let's strip her down. We don't want to do that. We want to cover her up. You know, protect your woman. In the animalistic world, even the males protect their females. So it goes back to our black males protecting us.
Right.
And that's where you get your heaven.
Interesting. Now, we mentioned at the opening that you both are members of the MGT and GCC, which means Muslim Girls Training and General Civilization Class.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Was you pausing on that one?
You gotta get it right. Gotta get it right. Now, why do you think that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad referred to you as the Muslim Girls Training as opposed to women?
Okay.
Start with Sister Tamika.
He wanted us to come as a little child. When you see a father and his daughter, you see how comforting she can be. The innocence, and she has no judgment against her father. She's like a sponge. She soaks up everything because she's a child. She's a girl. You know, sometimes a mother these days will get too busy, and the roles have been reversed, and a father's little daughter can come up to him and rest her head, and he wanted us to be like little girls in the mindset, not in the physical being, in the mindset, in the spiritual mindset where we're willing to come and be as little children, but as young girls that are open, and he's our father. So that's what I was under the understanding of a Muslim's girls. It's not an insult to the maturity level. It's more so to the spiritual level.
Right. Sister Taz?
I couldn't agree with you more, sister. You know, when you think of children, they're pure. You know, they're like a blank slate. You know, and what they learn is what you give them. So in terms of the messenger making the Muslim Girls Training General Civilization Class, he wanted us to be like a blank slate.
Right.
So he can insert the pureness of Islam in us. So that way when we are giving birth to God, as the sister said earlier, being that we're the first teachers, it can come out pure. You know, it's nothing tainted. Now, in contrast to that, if you're thinking of if it was Muslim women's training, let's put it that way. By the time you're a certain age, most women think that they already know it all,
Right.
and there's nothing more to learn, and there's not much that you can tell them in order to further their knowledge of something.
Right.
So just the beauty of that and the intellect he put behind Muslim Girls Training.
Right. So
He
there's a
wanted us to come-
psychological piece in
Yes, sir.
referring to yourself as a girl
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
because you're still open.
Right.
That's what's up.
That's what's up, brother.
All right, like we mentioned before, a couple of weeks ago, we had some sisters from the Sunni community on, and one of them had a veil on, and of course, their garment in the East is a little different from the garment that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad prescribed for the sisters in the MGT and GCC. Why?
Why was your question?
In terms
Is
of
ours different from theirs?
from the sisters in the
Go ahead
East.
and tackle it, sister.
Well, the way I see it, brother, in terms of the covering and our headpiece, everything has a meaning
Right.
behind it. And I look at our garments giving us more of equality in that sense. I don't want to say them sisters by the way that they're dressed is an oppressive state.
Right.
That is by their own choosing, in my judgment. But our look is more modernized. It's more of a look of elegance. It's more of a look of upliftment. And it's a look of equality.
Right.
Yeah, it's very fashionable as well. It's not drab.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you said it correctly. That's a choice that they've made, but ours is to bring in a new look, a new woman, a new world order. So
Right.
we're trying to set a trend of modesty, but attractiveness.
Right.
When you see someone covered around their eyes, with all due respect, you don't know who's behind that veil. You can't even see who they are. Everything's completely covered. It's almost like it's taboo to even get close to them. With us, you're approachable, but there's still a certain covering that says don't get too close.
Mm-hmm.
But there's an attractiveness that says, hey, I'm interested to find out a little bit more. And as she said, there's science behind everything.
Right.
The head covering. We cover our heads like they do because we believe that our hairs are adornment.
Right.
That is something that's very attractive. Also, in the Quran, from my understanding, it says cover to the bosom. It doesn't say cover your face.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad knew exactly what he was doing when he put these garbs on him. And then we came in with Mother Tainetta, who brought it up to make it more beautiful, because at one time it wasn't attractive, and it makes us want to walk out with prestige and look pristine when we walk out. You want to feel good in what you wear.
It's a representation of our nation.
Right.
It's sleek, it's sophisticated, it's modern, but also too it gives the community and the world a chance to focus on the face and focus on the intelligence versus more on the mystique of the garment and why they're covered that way. My judgment is they have some type of perception of why we're judged that way with a Muslim. But it kind of brings us up to modern times. So.
And it also distincts us from
Right.
other Muslim women. This is a distinction. When you see this hairpiece, you know this is the Muslim girls in training general civilization class in the Nation of Islam. This is a
Right.
distinct look. Anyone can wear a draped scarf, anyone can wear a head wrap, but this is a distinct look.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
And it seems that would also help in the way of propagation of the faith as well. Like you said, if you're veiled, you're unapproachable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, even by women, because they don't know. There's such a mystique with the veil that you never know what's running through a person's mind as to why she has that veil on. Is it by choice, or did her husband make her, or is it a rule in the society that she can't, you know what I mean,
Right.
not have her face be shown? So yeah, I see the wisdom in that it will be a very good tool in the way of propagation of the faith, attractive to other sisters
Yes,
who
sir.
will be attracted to the faith. So praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Question on re-education and training, because the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the so-called American Negro needed to be totally re-educated and retrained. What are some of the things that he gave to the Muslim women exclusively in the way of re-education and retraining?
Oh, man.
Our 7 units. Exactly. We have 7 units that we have to relearn how to cook, how to sew.
How to rear our children, take care of our husbands.
Yes.
Um,
How to act at home and abroad.
yes, ma'am.
We forgot. When I was growing up, and I didn't grow up in the nation, like my children were blessed. They've been born into the nation, but I didn't grow up in the nation. However, my father would not let me to come out the house with rollers in my hair and slippers on. That was like, no, you better do your hair up. Wherever you go, you better look your best.
Right.
Now you will see women in the grocery stores, just out and about. Even to go empty the trash, you better look nice.
Right.
I mean, and they just, it's unfortunate, but they've forgotten modesty. I mean, that's completely been taken out of the home front, modesty. I mean, and making yourself look beautiful. I mean, people probably say, oh, I'm just going to run to the car and grab something, but you just never know who's
Right.
looking, because you're always a representation of who you say you are.
Well, it was a standard at one time. It was